What's up, boys?
Nothing.
Oh my god, how is everyone doing?
Not bad. How are you?
Good, 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 good. Who we got here? We got Fap, and we have Nordic King.
Yeah, that's me.
Is Fap here? Is he gonna contribute?
I think so.
I just said I wanted to listen.
Well, that's you're gonna talk every now and then and just add stuff. Okay, cool, cool, cool. So what did I come in on? What's the conversating about?
We're just talking about what we had for dinner.
Ooh, let's hear it. Can I get a recap highlights?
I'm actually gonna let Fap go real quick.
Okay.
Spaghetti.
All right. Thanks, Fap.
I too had spaghetti.
Ghetto
Did you
bastard.
really?
Yeah, the signs of poverty. Spaghetti days.
I spent $40 at the store on the spaghetti.
$40? What'd you put in it? Lamb?
I made everything from scratch.
You made egg noodles from scratch.
Made everything from scratch.
You went out to the fucking fields like a little Chinaman and harvest your rice to make the noodles.
How do you think noodles are made?
Racist motherfucker.
I guess I've never questioned how noodles were made. I guess I need to. Some Chinaman was out there, harvest them down with a scythe or whatever they do.
They actually grew out of the ground, and yes, they cited that.
Big old harvester running down the road. American noodles, you don't want that because it's got like tire marks on them and stuff from all the tractors driving over them all the time.
Yeah, you want the
It's amazing
pollution.
they don't break.
Yeah, dude, totally.
Me personally, I just had a locomoca. That's a Hawaiian dish. It's
Okay.
white rice, a hamburger patty with brown gravy, and 2 fried eggs on top.
Sunny side up.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
pretty good. I
Yeah,
was
got
just
your
telling Fat Juice that it's not my favorite Hawaiian place, but it's kind of overpriced, but it's close. So
Yeah. Oh,
there's a
so
lot
I
better.
never know what to get at Hawaiian restaurants. I end up getting like macaroni and spam, and I'm all confused.
Yeah. Well, first off, I love mac salad. Like I usually order an extra.
That is
So
good.
good. But I have a bone to pick with Portland right now, and it's food.
Sure.
They try too fucking hard sometimes, you know?
You get some crazy fusions out there or something?
Yeah, well, it's just like,
It's not a crazy fusion. It's like you're overdoing a simple dish that already tastes good, and you're changing how it tastes.
that's exactly right, Fap. I went to, you guys know this restaurant. You've been there. You've recommended it to me. Devil's Dill.
Oh yeah,
I love that
that's a
place.
good time.
I know, but like, you know how sometimes you just want a good old fashioned fucking submarine, you know?
Yeah, that's all that
Or
exists in Seattle is good old fashioned submarines.
fucking hoagie, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
Devil's Dill's not the place for that.
No. So like, I
Can I get like a bologna?
no, well like that you joke, but it's like you can't even get a ham fucking sandwich there. So
Oh,
I'm like
trying to order
driving
a ham
around.
sandwich. They're like, what are you talking about, dude? What the hell's a ham
Yeah.
sandwich? You got a ham and cheese? Can I pick one of those up, please?
So I like eat out every meal, so I'm trying to mix it up. So I go over there. It's pretty close to my neighborhood, and I'm like, I see tuna sandwich, and I'm like, ooh yeah, I love tuna sandwich. You know, good old fashioned tuna salad, and fucking I get it, and it's got like sun dried tomatoes on it, fucking weird artisan pickled olives, and the fucking tuna isn't even tossed with mayonnaise. There's not mayonnaise in the entire restaurant. The fucking tuna is like tossed in like a vinaigrette or something.
That's what you gotta do. You gotta bring your own Miracle Whip and just bust it out on the table.
And ask him for nothing but tuna on
Yeah.
it. So I mean, dude. Don't get me wrong. It's tasty. It's like it's artisanal. It's crafty. It's fucking ritzy or whatever you want to fucking call it. But like, then okay. So then, Thursday night,
Mm-hmm.
I go to the local food carts near my house, and there's a pasta one. I'm like, oh, nice pasta. And I see at the top, macaroni and cheese. I'm like, oh, all right, yeah. So I
Classy
fucking,
dish for a classy guy.
yeah, I'm simple. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I'll get a macaroni and cheese. And I do the whole, I pay the $2 to add bacon, And
Uh-huh.
I get it, and it's like a gorgonzola smoked cheese sauce with like exotic peppers and caramelized onions on top, and fucking like I don't know where the fuck the bacon came from. I don't even remember it being in there, and like mushrooms and shit. And it's just like, can we call this something else? Like,
All right,
you know?
I gotta stop you. I mean, like, I get where you're coming from, but so I'm dealing with the opposite problem where I'm at. I don't know if you noticed. You were up kind of in the area yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw anything other than fucking huge chain restaurants.
Yeah.
So it's like it's all there is plain food. So I mean, I guess like I get where you're coming from, but I would think it's a good problem to have to deal with. You know?
Yeah, but there's few places in Portland where I can go and just like, we're both from a rural town,
Mm-hmm.
all three of us really, and it's like sometimes I just want a fucking regular ass meal, And they gotta Portlandify it. Everywhere you go, it's like
Vinaigrette and kale.
they can't have a fucking meal or a product that doesn't require going to Whole Foods and fucking rural Asia to get ingredients for it.
There's that Asian guy chopping down the noodle fields.
Straight from the farmer's hands.
Yeah, they brought him over. Part of your meal price will go to the further education of his children.
Yeah. They have a picture of him. We sponsor a farmer here.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my god, that is you're ripping the words out of my mouth. I mean, it's all good spirit, but it's like I get what you're saying. Yeah. If you told me, hey man, I'm looking for a ham sandwich, and I was downtown or in southeast, I'd be like, ooh, I don't know if I was in Portland.
I would say Fred Meyer.
Yeah, go buy the shit.
Yeah, exactly. No shit, and it's like I'm like that because I'll like drive around. I'm thinking like, God, I could just go for some whatever,
Mm-hmm.
And it's always overcomplicated.
Yeah, so here, like, I'm trying to think like what's good up in Seattle, and like, I'm new up here, so I'm probably not giving it justice, but it seems like everyone's like, oh, sandwiches, get sandwiches, and like I'm like, I don't know, like sandwiches are good, but it's not like that gets your dick hard kind of thing. And the fuck thing is like oh, sandwiches are so great, but then you'll see like hoagies and Jimmy John's everywhere, and they think that this is like really good food,
Yeah, I mean, and that's actually what's funny you say that in response to eating at Devil's Dill the other day, which is a very fine sandwich shop to anybody listening. Like, I don't mean to talk shit, but like,
you're gonna cost me the sponsorship that they promised 3 months ago. So
yeah. Well, it was worth it. Fuck them.
Get the fucking ham sandwich. This is America, goddammit.
The very next day, I went to Jimmy John's and bought like a ham sandwich and a tuna sandwich.
Is that a rebellion?
Yeah. And asked for extra mayonnaise and mustard.
And like, oh, we got you, dude. We got
like
you.
American cheese on your ham sandwich?
I mean,
that seems like a necessity, in my opinion.
Is that what they put on it?
Yeah, traditionally, I think.
Then it was fine. Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, there's a few like I'd call like like artisan sandwich types up here, but how much better they are than like a run of the mill fucking Quiznos or even Jimmy John's sometimes. Jimmy John's pretty plain. Well, isn't that substantial? So
it makes it, if it helps, you can call it James Jonathan, and it makes the sandwiches better.
Let's go get a James Jonathan.
I'm one of those guys. I refuse to church anything up. Like, I hate people that call Rainier beer Ronier, or I hate people that call Target Target. Just accept that you have no class and that you like that shit. That's where I'm at.
The IKEA and oak all my furniture is built out of.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like, no. Even though I make all right money, I march my fucking fat ass up to IKEA and buy some cheap ass shit because it's cheap ass shit.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's I don't know, do people, is that just like a joke, or do people are generally trying to
I
trick
I
themselves? Like, I'm
I
sophisticated because I drink Rainier.
I think it's like the guy who thinks he's the funniest dude at the office. Like that's his kind of joke.
Oh,
Like,
that guy.
oh look, we got Johnson, an accountant, fucking drinking Ron Yay. Oh, classy motherfucker, you know.
Yeah, that just irks you, huh?
And it just rolls downhill from there to the lowest common denominator, you know. No,
That's good.
I genuinely love Rainier beer. Leave me alone.
Yeah. Well, that's yeah, that's up here. That's from Seattle, I guess.
So that's actually grown on me down here. I used to not like it, but that's decent.
Rainier.
Well, I
Yeah.
used to think I have class. You know, I thought I had class, you know. And like when the
Really?
microbrew movement was happening,
Mhm.
I thought I had a palate sophisticated enough to enjoy different kinds of beers. Like I thought I could tell the difference. Like, ooh, yes, this IPA is much better than the other IPA, you know.
Mhm.
To a certain point, I looked in a mirror and I said, Nordic King, you're so full of fucking shit. And now I ask when instead of going to a bar and most people say, "Oh, what do you have on tap?" I ask, "What do you have in can?"
Oh, what do you supply in cans, sir? I'd like a tall boy for my meal
Yeah.
this evening.
Can I get a Tecate? I actually my kind of thing when I go to a bar I've never been to, I just go, "What's your shittiest beer that comes in a fucking can?" They're like, "We have Tecate." I'll be like, "That's right,
Oh,
hell yeah."
I'll rock Tecate. Tecate is fucking. If we're talking swill, it's not bad. I've been on a kokanee kick. I don't know.
Oh man,
Have either of you tried kokanee?
Yeah, I like kokanee.
Oh, that's right. That yeah. You've seen it on draft before. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Mackenzie's has it on draft.
Yeah.
oh my god.
Yeah. Um. Fucking kokanee. I guess. Fap was telling me that like hockey players come in and drink it or something.
Really?
That's the only reason they have it on top.
Yeah, it's like okay.
Really?
Yeah, so but it's it's not bad. It's not bad. And like it's crazy because I guess the rivers and lakes up here they stock them with kokanee, the fish. And so that made me notice the can and I started drinking. I'm like, yeah, this isn't bad. It's the cheap beer up here.
All right.
Wait, who's stocking what with beer?
No, not
Fish?
no, the fish type kokanee, which is like a freshwater salmon type. Yeah. Yeah, they don't do that in Oregon. So, to my
News
knowledge.
to me.
Yeah, no, they do like trout and stuff down there. Up here they stock fucking straight up kokanee, which are big, meaty sons of bitches compared to trout. I mean, you can get big trout, but that's yeah, so I'm looking to get in my fishing license and getting out there and get some real fish instead of the swill river fish that we usually end up getting.
Oh yeah.
Bony bastards.
Everything. I swear
It's about time you get a boat, and then we can go get some tuna and halibut.
Yeah, we could go get some real fish, I guess, on the ocean like men. The men we are, sexy men.
Yeah, I'm gonna go out there all shirtless and greased up.
Oh yeah, get all lubed up. Get that axle grease all on you.
I'm gonna have you guys rub me down with baby oil.
Get some
Yeah,
good
that's good.
exposure going.
Yeah, I have some in my glove box at all times. You never know. So
You never know when you're gonna need to grease up like a Greco-Roman god.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's the internet. You can look and feel however you want. What's that called? Is that okay? So there's like a keel oil or like a kale oil or some sort of seaweed oil. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Nope.
And it was in Step Brothers. You know that movie?
Yeah, I don't remember that.
Maybe it was seaweed oil. Yeah, the dickhead brother that's on SNL.
Oh, like when he talks about greasing up his ab.
Yeah, he mentions the type of oil. That's what I have in my car. I don't even know what it's called, but I have it.
Oh,
Yeah, in case the ladies want me to lift my shirt up and show my belly. So
yeah.
so
Well, people don't realize there's a lot more to look at with a nice, round, glistening belly.
yeah, there's a lot going on down
So
there.
the light can hit it in so many different ways.
The hair all matted down, looking good.
Oh yeah.
So you're talking about Keel's oil, and that's the name of the brand, not really the oil.
Okay, so I can't bring that in because they're not sponsoring us. We'll have to pursue sponsorship with them as well.
Yeah. We could do maybe like they did with Dove, where they had all the plus size women do an ad campaign.
Oh yes, we need to do
We'll
that.
see a bunch of pictures on the sides of buses of the three of us greased up.
Oh man, so
Keel's oil.
we should start an advertising company because I had an idea ever since I started drinking kokanee of like this awesome majestic commercial where we actually release a kokanee into the river and
Like a beer
yeah, like the beer.
can into the river.
It's like hopping over the
yeah, we're like we locally source our fucking shit, and yeah, you know what I mean. Every farmer love goes into the life of these kokanee. It's Seattle's
What kind
kokanee.
of bear is up in northern Washington? Is it just brown bear or
So
black bear?
there's black bear up here, and then in the northern pockets there's some pockets of grizzlies actually. So that's
Is
interesting.
it really?
Yeah, and they're trying. I think it's called Washington Department of Wildlife, and I don't know what the hell. They're trying to help the population grow, so it could end up going further south, which is. Yeah, and there's
I'd
fucking
love to see
killer
grizzlies
whales
in
and shit.
Seattle.
A grizzly bear, yeah, you just commute and you just yeah. It'd feel kind of homey if like a bear stopped me from like getting to work, so that'd be nice.
It's good. You're trash.
Yeah. So this fucking has anyone been keeping up with the NES Mini, Super Nintendo Mini thing?
Oh
No.
yeah, I've been following.
Pap, have you? Do you know anything about it?
First time I've heard about it.
Okay. Well,
Oh, you know about the NES Classic Edition, right?
I know about the first console.
No,
Sounds like they're remaking it.
1985 or whatever.
83.
All right. Sorry, I'm not the Nintendo guy here. I'm
Well,
sorry.
maybe not in America, but no. So
That's a
what was it?
Famicom. Anyway, we don't need to get.
Last year, was it for last year's holiday season?
Yeah, it was holiday season.
Nin-
Yeah.
Nintendo released a plug-and-play console like you would get from Fred Meyer's for Pac-Man, but it was like a little miniature NES that plugged into your TV via HDMI that had 30 games preloaded onto it, and they were actually like a
Okay.
decent amount of good games.
Yeah, Balloon Fight.
All three Mario games, Balloon Fight. Why is that the first thing that comes to your fucking mind?
I was trying to
Metroid,
think. Yeah.
Metroid, Mega Man 2, Super C. I can't remember what else off the top of my head.
Ninja Gaiden.
Was that on there?
Yeah, yeah.
The original Final Fantasy. The original.
Did you say Double
something
Dragon
else.
2?
Double Dragon 2 was on there.
The first Donkey Kong. You said that one. I'm
No.
looking it up.
Are you talking about like Donkey Kong the arcade port?
Yeah.
Either way, there was a big not controversy, but a lot of pissed off
Oh
people.
no, I mean let's call it what it was. It was a controversy.
Yeah, I mean, just a lot of pissed off people. I mean, like controversy. I guess I'm mixing controversy up with conspiracy. Yeah, there's a big controversy about it where fucking Nintendo made like very few, and they didn't tell people it was a limited run thing, and like they sold out super fast, and most of them went to fucking scalpers who were selling them for like quadruple the price on Amazon at least, you know.
Yeah, it was. You would
Really?
see these were. I think they retailed at like $60,
Yeah, they're $60 retail.
and you would see it all day on Amazon, eBay for like $300 to $500, depending when it was. I think they're down to like 200 now. Still.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean 200 still, you know, 4 times what the original cost was, 3 4 times. So it's still absolutely crazy, and that came out, you know, holiday season 2016.
And this is like a huge problem Nintendo's been having in history now. Like
Since the
they
64, yeah.
just aren't making enough shit. Like you can go to Costco right now and they'd have like a stack of Xbox Ones. You know what I mean? But
Well, you
there's
could go to Fred Meyer's and pick up the Sega Classic, the
oh
Sega
yeah.
Genesis Classic that has like
So
30
yeah,
games
so
on it.
I forgot about that. There was a few things people released to combat the NES Classic Edition or to try to get on that bandwagon. And I'm gonna butcher this because I can't remember off the top of my head. Was there a Genesis Classic Edition?
Okay, so I think the
I think I
Genesis
saw
has
the
been
Genesis
out
one.
for years.
Yeah.
But
Oh
what
yeah.
happened
Fred Meyer.
is on Google searches they started to fight for AdWords to get up higher. So when you're like looking for a NES mini that you're never gonna get, they're like, hey, Sega has one, you know. But
I do remember. So here's the thing about that. I do remember, and maybe this is the same one. There is a plug and play Genesis, and but it would be only AV. It wouldn't have HD connection unless they've updated it since then.
yeah, I haven't
And I
seen it with
heard it had a
HD.
I heard it had a bad sound card on it or something
Oh,
like that.
really?
So there's like I don't if this is the same one I'm thinking of. There's fixes for it, and I've heard you can actually mod them with a cartridge slot so you can play Genesis games on it.
So I've been googling like
But
the
there was
first one.
another one, real quick. There was another one made by a third party brand where I can't remember who they licensed games from. Was it shit? I can't remember. But like it was another plug and play system that had HD connectivity, and they had licensed like 100+ games, I think.
Huh.
But from a lot of the reviews, I heard it was cheap and kind of shitty. Was it some Capcom games? I can't remember
Huh.
now.
I haven't heard about that at all.
It was who was it made by? I want to. I feel like it was made by like Hyperkin or something. I don't know. I'm like gonna fuck that up. You can look it up if you want, but it was a lot of like during the time of the release of the NES Mini, there's a huge influx of videos on YouTube of people describing how to make uh, emulator consoles via Raspberry Pis, and then people reviewing the other plug and play kind of systems. You know, like, well, fuck Nintendo. Here's what you should get, or reviewing them, whatever. You know.
Nice.
So,
What I've been seeing on the in the vein of the
well, real quick.
NES. Okay.
So, Fat Juice knows. They've announced Super NES Classic Edition.
September 29th is when it's coming out.
Okay.
So do you think Nintendo's short supply of consoles is like purposely for some kind of business plan?
I don't think there's any way they got to be conscious of what
I
they're
don't
doing.
know what. I think all the fucking eBay scalpers are Nintendo employees.
Yeah, it could be
That's the
possible.
only real conspiracy here.
Yeah. Well, okay.
Well, start making some conspiracies. That's awesome.
Yeah. So at the end of the life of the NES Classic that was being sold last year, the last shipments went out. I want to say in like late March, and they'd be hitting store shelves, and stores would like specific stores would be getting like 1 or 3 consoles like every couple weeks and stuff. Like it was crazy. That's where I came in. I started like lining up outside of stores when they'd open and stuff and asking people. And what would happen is the stock trackers would say that there'd be 3 or 5 consoles at the store. You'd get there and they'd be like, oh, we don't have it. And what was happening at the end was the store employees were taking them and setting them aside. So like the consumer couldn't even purchase these things, even if they
That
could
makes
fucking
sense.
find one. So that's what I was dealing with on the end. I had multiple friends going to multiple stores across the state of Oregon during open hours and stuff, and they were supposed to be there, and they wouldn't be. So that's where I was. Now today, if you Google it, I think last time it was well over 100, close to $200 to get in box these consoles. And it seems like somebody in China has created a knockoff version that has 500 games in one, and it
Oh
looks
yeah.
it looks just like the Super Nintendo, or it looks just like the regular NES, but they took off the label Nintendo. And like when you see the box, instead of like Mario, it's like Super Mark guy or something. You know, like
You
this.
should
What's up?
you should look up like those Chinese console ripoffs. Like you should
Hmm.
look up because there's a bunch of them.
Oh yeah.
They make like handhelds and other shit, and they're like $12 on what's that import site, Alibaba or whatever. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, I don't know which one you're talking about.
Either way, you can import these things from China, and you can get them for like $5, and they like will have like 500 games. Most of them are just clones of each other that are bad clones of really, just shitty quality.
Yeah, so I've watched some unboxing stuff about it because they're like, oh, we picked up the shitty Chinese version because we couldn't get our hands on the real one, and I guess like the controllers just fall apart. There's no HDMI port. Like it's just a like quick fucking shitty ass
Just
fucking clone. Just disgusting.
shove something as fast as they could out the door.
Well, I mean, it'd be easy to get the actual emulator on there because they're super small file size and just load it up with 700 ROMs. I don't even know if Nintendo had that many licensed games, 700, but and just fucking throw it out there. Do you have any idea on that, Nordic King, if they had that many licensed games?
It's 700 something.
Is it 700 something?
Official US release.
Yeah, but
And then
it's atrocious. So that's where we find ourselves today. The Super Nintendo is releasing September 29th, and I've been trying to get my hands on a pre-order, but it's super hard. I guess the UK
Well,
had a series of pre-orders.
they had so they went on. So I follow like this kind of shit via social media and stuff.
Yeah.
Like they had a pre-order via UK, and I can't remember what they're retailing for, whatever it is translated to pounds.
Mhm.
And what it was is they're saying that Americans wouldn't be able to do it, but they have, and they did. And I don't know if they're gonna honor that. Who knows? Maybe once it's actually announced, it'll be like, wait, fuck you. I don't know, but I saw them. I didn't jump on it. I wasn't super concerned about it. I mean, I don't know. I have all those games on Super Nintendo, but like they sold out already though. The pre-orders maybe sold out within a few hours if I remember
I've
correctly.
heard minutes. I don't have an official number, but I heard within minutes these things, the pre-order sold, and then they got listed on eBay. The pre-orders
Oh
got
my
listed on eBay,
god.
so they were
Are you
selling their
serious?
pre-orders for like 300-400 bucks.
Oh my god,
And
dude.
then in the last couple days, eBay released a statement, I think, and then they're starting to take down people that are trying to sell the pre-orders because of it's a mess. You'll see pictures of the NES Classic, and there just be people with like 20 consoles, and then like normal people like me and Nordic like couldn't even fucking see one, you know.
Yeah.
And it was crazy. So it's a problem. Nintendo's very aware of it, dude. There's no way they're not. I mean, since the Nintendo 64, they have not made enough consoles. There's been this artificial scarcity to drive up demand, in my opinion. It's just crazy. I mean, people waited
But
in line for N64s.
I
So
wonder how the fuck it could be possibly helping them though. I mean, this amount of artificial scarcity, like there when there is a fucking huge percentage of people that would like to own a Nintendo Switch or certain 3DS, handheld consoles,
mhm.
or fucking these NES Mini Classic Edition, whatever, or Super Nintendo Classic Editions, like I understand a little bit of artificial scarcity, but to fucking downright make a small amount and then cancel it, like it was a limited run and just be done with it. When there was, I'm sure, millions of people who would have purchased them beyond what they made.
Well, there's a right way and a wrong way to do it, I think. Like, look at the Dreamcast. Like, they totally didn't make enough Dreamcast, and it kind of killed Sega, even though it was already kind of dead. But you look at this, I mean, outside of Nintendo nerds, like, who's talking about Nintendo today that much? Like, there's some stuff on 3DS and with the new Wii and stuff like that people like and pursue. But this is
But it will
making Nintendo
always be
super.
relevant.
This is making it pretty hot stuff to talk about. It's all over the internet and social media.
Oh, I'm sure.
Maybe they just have really bad forecasters.
Yeah.
Well, I've always said that like
Probably.
Nintendo, because they're a Japanese company, and I know like so is Sony, but like I don't know what it is about their weird traditional shit that they are just way behind on their platforms, like way behind on their, just everything that the public sees, way behind. Like I feel like they're
Sorry.
What was that?
I feel like they're way behind on like their shop channel, always have been, and like I think they should. It's like, do you not look outside the door at all and poke your head like, oh, who's this company Valve with this thing called Steam, who is probably, I don't know the numbers. You'd probably know better than me. Valve or Steam, pretty successful, right?
Yeah, I mean they, as far as like online gaming, they pretty much own it. I mean, there's a lot of people trying to break into that, but Valve, they were way ahead of the curve. They saw it coming. Valve is a phenomenal company. So,
But to not even attempt to copy Valve, like, you know
Nintendo
what
has
I
a
mean?
lot of issues, dude. Like all the way through. Like even on um YouTube and Twitch, not at Twitch as much, but YouTube, posting Nintendo gameplay will get you taken down.
Oh yeah,
It's copyright infringement, which is just absurd. Look at like some small indie game and some successful YouTuber post some gameplay on it. That could make the fucking game sales. Look at Rust. You know, we play Rust all the fucking
do you
time.
know how many games I've discovered because of people I follow?
Oh
Like,
yeah, definitely. And
that's how I found out about Stardew Valley.
oh yeah, yeah, no, definitely. That actually came up in my recommended list, but I could see that. I've definitely seen a lot of games, especially the lower budget ones, because of people I follow too. Because it's a culture, dude, and Nintendo doesn't want to be part of that culture, is what it feels like. They want
Yeah,
to dictate what's said and what's being done. This is what it feels like from the outside. I've never worked there or anything,
Feels like
but
Apple.
yeah,
yeah,
Apple's a
yeah.
cunt too. Definitely want to
But
dictate everything that's said and done about them.
I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but like when the Nintendo Switch came out,
Mm-hmm.
I
Oh,
walked into a Best Buy and I'm like, I'm just like curious, because like, Nintendo had announced they're like, hey, listen, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna focus less on. I don't know. Don't quote me on this, but this is what I thought I heard,
we're
that they were gonna
experts. We can say
focus.
whatever we want. It's
Yeah,
fine.
that they were gonna focus less on internet sales and that kind of shit, and more about flooding the store shelves with consoles to try to downsize on internet scalping. They're like trying to make it available or whatever.
Hmm.
And of course it failed. I walked into Best Buy, early on in the release of the Switch, and I went over to the Nintendo aisle and everything. I'm not even saying Switches, but Wii U's, 3DS, 2DS, Switch, nothing on the shelves. All bare. Bare.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
Every time I go to Fred Meyer after the release of the NES Classic Edition, and this is the kind of thing, like even with the artificial scarcity back in the day or scarcity in general,
Mm-hmm.
you could get lucky. You know what I mean? Like that's how I got a Wii when they came out. I just kind of checked all the stores and kind of walked by, and one day I walked by and there was one available. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I walked by the Nintendo shelf at my local Fred Meyer retailer, and it was like empty every fucking time. Not even a new, like I couldn't even get a 3DS. And then they do these limited release 3DSs, and it's like, oh, one pre-installed with Super Mario World. God, that sounds tight. So I fucking go to my local GameStop and I ask them, do you have any 3DS handhelds in? And they didn't even. They're like, and then they give you the usual GameStop bullshit where they're like, oh well, you should consider buying used.
God damn.
Do you know anything about GameStop?
They're cunts, dude.
Oh
Definitely.
my god. They're such shysters, man.
Yeah. Oh, you have 2,000 titles? Yeah, we'll give you $28 in store credit. Old
They
hustle.
make their money on like they like these poor employees that get muscled into fucking selling their shit used. Like they have to say it. It's like certain stores they make their employees try to sell credit cards to that store. Like the GameStop line is like, oh, have you considered buying that used? And I'm just
Well, so
nah.
this is the problem in the state of Nintendo, in my opinion. So I was hunting these NES classics, right? I show up at a Target at 7 in the morning or whatever, whenever it opened. I'm the only person in line because I had read that Target could have like 2 consoles coming.
Mhm.
So I'm there right when it opens up. Get inside, go to customer service. I'm like, hey, I'm here for the NES Mini, first person in line, which I've done like dozens of times at this point. And they're like, oh, they're unloading the truck. We'll let you know. Guy comes back with a big smile on his face. He's like, dude, you're in luck, man. You're one of the lucky few. He's like, yeah, we'll bring it up. And I was like, oh, cool. How many do you have? He's like, we only have 2 Switches, but you'll get one for sure. And I'm like, nah, dude, I don't want a fucking Switch. Like,
Oh
that's
no
how
shit.
bad it was with the fucking Switch, which is a huge release. Like, people
Yeah.
were lining up for that shit, and it had been out for a while, too. So it's like, what the fuck, Nintendo?
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, it would have been cool if I wanted a Switch, but
Yeah, I don't
ghetto
have
and probably
$400 right
yeah,
now or whatever they cut.
well, I sent my cousin to go and check a Target because I found one in like Bend or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this one has one. So he went and he was like at work or school or something. He couldn't make it there right away. So he ended up having to go like 3 hours later. And he got there and he's like, dude, he texted me back. He's like, dude, they said they just sold it 20 minutes ago. And I was like, what the fuck? And he's like, he sent me a picture message. And he's like, and I made a huge mistake. And sent me a picture of Breath of the Wild and fucking Switch that he'd picked up when he was at the fucking store.
Hell yeah.
So I got my cousin to buy a Switch. But it's funny. This problem has been existing for like 2 decades. And they like it, apparently. I don't know. You'd think they'd notice.
I
Part of the
think they
strategy.
think that money is bad and that too much of it brings shame to their family.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you've explained tipping before, so maybe that's what it is.
Now, I'm like, while we're on the topic of this, and like, let's try to change the note, I guess, a little bit of what is your first impressions of the SNES Classic Edition?
So for me, it's kind of interesting. I think some of the game choices were kind of interesting. Let me pull up the game list. I don't think there's anything like bad on that list. But it's I don't know. I'm trying to think because I looked at it before and I thought it was kind of odd, some of their games. I don't know. What do you think about it?
Honestly, I think it's a super, super solid 21 titles. Like, I mean, I'm hearing people bitch about like no Chrono Trigger or whatever, and it's like, okay, yeah, that sucks, but like, you're complaining that you can't like. There's a console that has Secret of Mana, Earthbound, and Final Fantasy VI on it.
Mhm.
Like on the same thing, and you're gonna okay, yeah, sorry,
Well, okay.
sorry, it's not perfect.
It's sorry. Okay.
I mean, there was a few that I was a little like the original Donkey Kong Country. I think the second one would have been a much better pick, but I'm
Yeah.
still not complaining. I still like the first one.
Yeah, I definitely Donkey Kong, the first one was something that I thought was kind of an odd choice. If you're gonna go into the Donkey Kong franchise, I would think that 2 would be better. Was that Diddy's Quest?
Diddy's Conquest,
Diddy's
spelled
Kong.
Kong.
Diddy's Conquest. But yeah, I finally found the list.
I
Earthbound,
know
Final
it.
Fantasy 3, Star Fox, Super Mario Kart, Super Mario RPG. So that's an interesting one. I personally think
I
that's a
think that's
phenomenal
awesome.
game. It's a great game,
Yeah.
but that wasn't like and isn't to my knowledge like a super popular game, is it?
Yeah, I think a lot of people that was like their first RPG. It kind of introduced a lot of kids. I mean, this is like the first wave, or I don't want to say first wave, but one of the waves of RPGs introduced to whites, like Americans. Like, I mean, because they weren't necessarily a very popular genre before this point. Final Fantasy VII was another wave of introducing a lot of people to RPGs.
So I
And that
remember
was due to false advertisement, but
yeah, showing the cinematics.
yeah.
Super Mario RPG, I think I remember renting that from like our local Blockbuster,
I
for
love it.
the
I've
weekend.
beat that. You can beat it in 2 or 3 days. It's not super long, but I absolutely adore that game. I've beat it so many times. Like it's beautiful. Like and like people, it's another one of those things like people bitch about like because they use like pre-rendered sprites, like 3D models painted to because they're trying to give it kind of like that Donkey Kong look of like 3D graphics on a 16-bit console, but like I love it. People talk shit about that now, but I thought it was a good looking game. The music is amazing. It was, I think, the first game to have I don't know what the name of it is, but it's like action based turn based combat, like where you do timed hits with like do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, where
Where
you have
you
to.
would like when Mario jumps, as soon as he hits the guy's head, you press A and get a bonus attack, and you can do the same with block. And it's like the first game to ever do that, and it's a super awesome mechanic.
hmm Uh, yeah, this game list is interesting. You have your Link to the Past is classic. I think the only thing that is just a big standout miss is Chrono Trigger on this, but I guess there's FF3 on there, so I guess you could say if they're trying to cover all bases, that exists.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's the thing. Are you going to complain about playing FF3 or Final Fantasy 6 in Japan? It's like, really, dude? I don't know. I feel like, given the circumstances, we're talking about a plug and play novelty item. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
This isn't a console. This is like a goofy kind of like. I mean, really, it's kind of cool if you don't have a Super Nintendo, and it's a good way to get. But I mean, all these games have been, for the most of them, maybe. Oh, well, one big deal, but most of these games have been available on Nintendo Virtual Console.
Star Fox
So
2, is that what you're gonna say?
except well, no, the Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island.
Okay.
This is the first time the game has been available legally since Super Nintendo, except for the Game Boy Advance port.
Mm-hmm.
But Game Boy Advance ports are like, I mean, it's cool, it's portable, but it's not quite the same.
Definitely. Fap, have you looked at this game list at all?
0 times.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna run down. We said a few of them. Let me see. Is there anything we haven't said? Legend of Zelda, Secret of Mana, Star Fox, Super Mario RPG, Super Mario Kart, Super Metroid, and then some other classics, Yoshi's Island, Super Mario. So, it's looking real good.
We're talking like some of the best Nintendo, some of the best games of all time. Like, I mean, not even some of the best Nintendo games of all time.
Mhm.
Some of the best games, like in my humble opinion, like Super Metroid, like created a genre almost, and it was
Yeah.
perfect. It's like a perfect game.
Yeah, I'd agree
Like
with that.
Zelda: Link to the Past, it's one of the best Zeldas, hands down. Super Mario World. I mean, me personally, my favorite Mario is Super Mario 3, but Super Mario World is a very close second, and most people consider it the best Mario platformer side scroller of all time. Like,
Yeah, it's interesting. There's
on the
definitely a few
level
titles on
of
here
Steam,
that could hold,
with only
like,
10
at
of
the
these
very
games,
least,
I'd be paying
massively
$50 for a
influential.
buck.
You know,
That's how
it's
I
not
swear. I mean,
contender
you know
for
what I mean? Like,
best
you release
their
this shit,
genre
it's like
kind of
I will throw my money. Now, if you were to like
Yeah.
take a different my approach, biggest problem is like people like how good people are kind of splitting hairs about what games they wish were on there, and I'm like, shut your fucking mouth. You'll be lucky to get one, so shut the fuck up.
Definitely. Yeah, I mean,
And
I
that's
think
my only problem with it. I think $80 is a good value given to what Nintendo values those games at. Nintendo, every Super Nintendo game on the Wii Shop channel or Wii U shopping channel. Most are valued at $8 a piece, and some for 10. I think Earthbound's 10 or around that on whatever. So to to be able to get 21 games for $80, it's a good deal.
Yeah, I mean, and then here's the sad truth too: is like you, we've talked about ROMs and emulators in the past, and like you could get all these games free.
Yeah.
And it's like the fact that Nintendo recognizes that people like these so much and is like actually kind of catering to the fan base by even making it, because they totally don't even have to.
Oh
Um,
no, you're absolutely right. Like the fact that Nintendo even made either of these products as a longtime Nintendo fan is a miracle. Like
mhm.
I don't they very do very little fan service. They do very
Yeah,
little niche products. Like they do very few novelty products like this. And it's Nintendo. I would be consider it a fucking blowjob from Nintendo if I could just get my fucking hands on one.
it's sad to think that we won't.
This is the thing. This is could be a sign of good faith from Nintendo. This could bring their popularity and their like people's affection for them up so much, because it's like, oh, look at what Nintendo's doing. If they
Mhm.
it would make them look, it would shine an amazing light on them from their hardcore fans.
Yeah, definitely. And like, I don't know. Tell me if I'm on the wrong track here, but I think it would really open um the idea of these classic games to a new generation.
Yeah.
And imagine in the teens of 20 teens, and there's fucking little kids with Super Nintendos on the ground, like
Oh
learning
yeah.
these classes. Like that's kind of, I don't mean to be
Well, like,
nostalgic or whatever, but that's kind of an interesting concept to think Nintendo has that opportunity to do that.
and kids, I think kids have a vast interest in these games, believe it or not, and it's through like this phenomenon of parents shoving their nostalgia onto their children. We
Yeah,
grew up with parents who had nostalgia for nothing but Gilligan's Island, and they could give us a fuck. They could give a fuck less if we watched it.
yeah.
But now, like, there's people. Maybe it's because Gilligan's Island onesies weren't available.
Yeah.
I don't know, but
Dress your baby up like Gilligan.
You had to ask for grandma to sew that for you.
yeah.
Yeah.
So now, like, it's like this kind of nerd culture, the shit we used to get made fun of for growing up. Like, people are shoving it on their fucking kids,
Mhm.
and God bless their fucking kids. They appreciate. Some of them seem to appreciate it. I don't know. Maybe in 20 years, kids will, like, people that are growing up now, be like, "Fuck you, mom and dad. Fuck Star Wars. I just gonna want to go work on a farm like some fucking Cold
Well,
War Russian."
it's like Back to Future 2 when they're in the diner and they're like, "You have to use your hands. It's a baby's toy."
No,
At the
I, I'm
arcade.
I'm just saying, like, kids in the future are gonna go the opposite direction. They're like, "Fuck you, mom and dad. I want a white picket fence and a blue collar job.
Yeah. I want to live in the suburbs, mom.
I want to wear khaki shirts to work for the rest of my life.
Yeah. Tattoos are stupid.
Fuck you. I'm getting a job at the mill."
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna go pull chain. Yeah, let's do it.
But my point is, like, kids, like, I don't have kids. I don't plan on having kids, but I have a lot of friends who have kids, and they seem to be like, their kids seem to be interested in this. Like, you can show them a HD 3D Mario, or you can show them an 8-bit Mario, and they're fucking stoked, and they're stoked to learn about the history. They're
Mhm.
stoked to kind of like say, "Oh," and then there's on top of that, it's like, for people 10 years younger than us, it's like cool within culture to like that shit. Like,
Yeah,
retro
definitely.
video games, like, as a cultural movement, has grown so much in the past 10 years,
Oh
you
yeah,
know?
definitely. Definitely.
Like,
Like we were fucking losers for liking that shit
oh
back,
my god,
in
yeah.
like the late 2000s or mid 2000s. It's like, oh,
I
it's from the
remember
'90s, stupid.
or even from in the
'80s.
'90s.
Yeah. Yeah, it was even worse then. It's like, oh, look at these nerds playing video games.
Oh yeah, like I remember being in like 7th grade, sitting across at the table from one of your old roommates, and I was like, "Hey, what do you think of this new game?" And he's like, "Dude, shut up! Don't let people hear us talking about this." No
Yeah,
joke. He's like,
totally.
he's like, "Dude, I'm trying to eat my jam saltines. Please, I'm just trying not to get made fun of today. People don't know I like this shit, you know."
Yeah, dude, for sure. For sure, that's what it was. And now it's
But
like
now it's
being a
cool.
nerd is cool.
Yeah, yeah, and that's fine. Like, I guess I should feel better accepted, but I don't know. Then also there's like this weird nerd pecking order about like, go, I was an original nerd, I don't know. And I'm not
Yeah.
trying to say that like I was just a fucking dumbass kid who liked video games,
Well,
but
and there's inside of that there's tiers of nerds too. So like we were, we played PC and we played console and stuff when we were young. But we would look down on like tabletop nerds, like with the
oh
same
yeah.
disgust
Oh
that
yeah, we were
normies
like,
looked at us.
yeah, it's true. And like what's funny is I tried to get into like tabletop. I tried to get into Dungeons and Dragons as a kid.
Mhm.
And my own nerdy friends who got made fun of for liking Dragon Ball Z and for playing video games sat in the library behind me at this middle school making fun of me for for wanting to play Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah,
They were like
yeah.
sitting there like, look at this faggot. You like playing
Definitely.
D&D? And these poor kids that I was trying to play with were just kind of like, what's up with those guys? What's with your friends?
We like video games too. It's like, oh,
They're like, fuck
they hate
you, it's
you.
cool.
They hate you, man. Don't even look at them. They hate you. They're just gonna try to make. Yeah, it's because there's that pecking order you're talking about.
But now it's kind of like, I don't know. That's a whole nother
Well, look at
topic.
Catan. Catan's been
Yeah.
around for a long time, but like normal people play Catan. So it's kind of a gateway.
Yeah,
I mean, how deep are you gonna go? But
suddenly a lot of that stuff has become like the deeper you dig, the cooler you are.
yeah, I have this very specific
The more you can
submodel.
and the more you can pretend about how you knew about it from the beginning, the cooler you are.
Definitely.
But
Well,
really, you heard the same NPR fucking piece about it that everybody else did.
yeah, dude, for sure. On the 8 o'clock commute or whatever.
It's
Um,
like I love the artist Harry Nilsson, but I didn't know who he was till that documentary came out on Netflix.
okay, yeah. So like, to be fair, we lived in or not in, but like near a major metropolitan area in the Pacific Northwest. So it's a certain style out there. Um, so or not near, just close enough to be influenced by it. And I remember being up in like Central Washington when I was a kid, hanging out with these like straight redneck hillbilly kids. Nothing wrong with that, but just homeschool, live up in the mountains, driving trucks around at like 12, 13 years old, like no big deal, backwards.
Yeah.
Seventh-day Adventist. Not that Seventh-day Adventist. But anyway.
Just to get a feel for the culture.
Yeah. Very, very rural. Yeah. And so I was hanging out there because I spent my summers up in that area. And I was at their house one time, and I'm like, hey guys, what are we doing? Like, I was like, oh, does anyone have like a PlayStation or anything? Once we go inside, and they're like, oh, no, none of us have a PlayStation, man. You gotta like drive to the city to do that. And I'm all like confused. I'm like, what do you like playing the Fred Meyers like on the sample section? Like, the fuck you talking about? And then like they literally thought like a PlayStation was like, like at McDonald's, how there'd be like a playpen next to the McDonald's.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So it's like, you gotta think like, I don't know, like I imagine someplace completely different. I don't know if being a nerd's still cool. I went to the South last year, whenever it was, and nerdom was not in the forefront of everyone's mind,
Yeah.
Same thing with like Chicago and New York.
That's true. There's a lot of places where nerds are still on the underground.
Yeah. Definitely. And even up here, like the nerdy hipster type up here is a lot different than the Portland area, which is weird. You'd think it'd be really close,
Yeah.
but it's they're a lot more like yuppie type up here. I'm just getting like super judgmental here, but like
Yeah.
just to stereotype the area. I don't know. So, what do you think, Fap? What's your experience of super stereotypical people in these cities?
Nerd culture.
Yeah, I was just had that look down on D&D guys, and then tried D&D, and I was like, this is kind of cool.
Yeah, it makes me feel
That was my
bad.
experience with all that.
Yeah, you get older and you get that
I
perspective.
still can't get into card games though.
Like Magic.
Oh yeah, Magic.
Collected them, and then I can't play it. I don't get it.
Yeah.
That's another thing I made fun of people for. Magic.
Or like we all collected Pokemon cards, right?
Oh yeah.
But you never got caught playing Pokemon. You know, like that's lame. You know, like doesn't even make sense, right? That's nuts. Like who actually plays the game? You're a loser, you know? So
I played it.
I tried to play it. I don't know. I was too fucking ADHD to even figure out what I was supposed to do and stuff. And so something like Magic, holy shit.
I had brothers to play with, and like we had like the little mat with where you put your with the outline of where you put your cards, and like I think it had like a brief description of the rules on it, and it came with like hit points, Moncala beads, and shit.
Nice, dude.
So I played it a little bit with my brothers, but yeah, I could imagine Magic players must have looked down on Pokemon players back then.
Oh yeah,
because like Magic, I think, is probably a much more in-depth game.
Or like Yu-Gi-Oh. For some reason, the timing of Yu-Gi-Oh was just like shamed. You know, collecting Pokemon cards was cool, but Yu-Gi-Oh is
I think like liking anything that was very blatantly Japanese was like you were gonna get made fun of. Like maybe I think a lot of people didn't necessarily realize or know or care that a lot of video game stuff was from Japan. But as soon as you started sporting like a fucking anime habit, you were like, if you came to school with a Naruto headband, you were going to you were an outcast. Like, you were the smelly kid that wore sweats to school, you know?
Like a Pikachu backpack or something. People are going to be like, whoa, dude, what are you doing? We're not friends anymore.
I mean, it was okay to like Pokemon because it was such a cultural
true.
phenomenon, but like if anything else you stepped into within the anime thing, like I remember you were ridiculed.
Well, okay, so I had a friend. We all had this friend, and Barleycorn, and he was a big DBZ fan, you know.
Yeah.
And he was the type of guy that bought it all, and this was back when they're on VHS, you know. And
his parents spoiled it, dude. Those things were so expensive.
Yeah, I know. And it was like a season would be like 10 VHSs long. And it was this big thing. I got the Sand Saga and like this crazy display, and it was like in this box set, and it looked all nice and stuff, but it was just so nerdy, right? So I mean, like today you'd be like, "Oh, that's cool."
Bookends of the tapes made up a picture, right?
Yeah,
together.
Yeah, exactly. And so like, I borrowed it or something, and we were at school, and I had to give it back to him, and so we're like, "Okay, let's go into the bathroom," and it was like a fucking drug deal, dude. We're like, no one's coming, dude. We gotta do this quick. We're like halfway in a stall. Like if someone came in, we'd be like, "Oh, we were just making out," you know, like anything
and
other than that.
Where like it was like even back then, where homosexuality was not accepted at that time. It is now. Like you would have much rather been like, me and him were being weird in a stall. You know, like I'll take the gay allegations, but I will not be called a nerd.
Yeah, exactly. And I guess later he did the same thing because it got around that he had the whole season or whatever, you know. So like, one of our other friends borrowed it kind of outside of our circle that we both knew. And I guess he got done, he was going to return it, and he didn't have the same courtesy to fucking go into the bathroom all secret about it. And he just walked up to his locker and was like, "Thanks, man, for letting me borrow DBZ." Like, pulls out this big box set and just hands it to him. People are walking by, horrible little kids and stuff.
Oh, we're talking like this box set must have been like 18 inches long by the other dimensions of a VHS tape.
Yeah, dude. No, that's just nuts. It's like suicide.
Yeah.
You know,
didn't he end up getting more too? He had like the Frieza saga and the Cell saga.
He had everything, and then I think I think he made it through like the Frieza saga or something, or Cell Saga, and then like it came out on
Might have
DVD,
started. Yeah,
and then he started buying the DVDs,
yeah, that's right.
which is funny. It's in Blu-ray and then now digital.
What's funny is, yeah, I had another friend who he wasn't that into DBZ, but like, and he kind of made fun of us for it, but then he started getting into it, and even I had to give him the whole like rundown of like, because he came and he's like, so yeah, dude, that guy Frieza, what's his deal? You know, he was like asking me about it because he had like clearly been watching it a little bit.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, did you see yesterday's episode where that guy Frieza? And like, I'm like, dude, shut the fuck up, man.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Well, what's funny though is you say that, and like most people, at least back then, like didn't know what you were talking about until you said like keywords. Like if you were to say like Super Saiyan, like people know what that means, or like Goku, like people are like, ooh, what?
If you said Goku and some like jockey kid or some rich kid or whatever cool kid was like, oh faggot, you probably like DBZ. It's like, how do you know the name Goku?
Yeah. Or you call him Kakarot or something.
You're trying to tell me you don't go home from school and watch Cartoon Network as well?
Yeah, dude.
Fuck you.
Yeah. Yeah. I sarcastically watch Dragon Ball Z so I can make fun of people.
my little brother likes it, okay?
Yeah, okay. Okay. Yeah, no, it's like walking home, there was that kid that's like got, you know, SpongeBob on blast in the living room, and you happen to live down the street.
I remember walking home with friends and seeing that, and it's like, then like you go back to school and be like, yeah, so and so like SpongeBob.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, it's horrible people. Or
I fucking love SpongeBob.
Yeah, dude, for sure.
So good.
Yeah, I'd be like, dude, you want to hang out and watch SpongeBob and Jimmy Neutron and shit?
I would put SpongeBob. I would put that on right now.
Yeah, no, it's horrible people.
Pantera did music for SpongeBob episode.
Nice. Well, I'm kind of thinking, you know, kind of got me Jones into play something. You guys want to play something?
Yeah, I'm down.
All right.
Do you want to sign off or something?
No, I mean, yeah, I could in just a minute, but Fap, what are you feeling? You feeling to go play something?
Depends on what you guys are playing. I don't really have your games.
Okay.
John Ox is playing The Forest right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
We could pop on that. That'd be good.
You should PM him. Are you friends with him on Steam?
I'm not.
I'll tell him. I'll PM.
Yeah, PM. All right. Well, we're gonna pop off. Thanks everybody for stopping by. Thanks so much for Fap Juice and Nordic King for stopping by. If you guys want to say goodbye, I'm gonna sign off just a little bit.
Fap Juice, is that Eastern European? What is that?
Yeah, is that Romanian or something?
It's New Zealand.
Okay.
Well, it's called Limeys? Isn't that? No, that's Kiwis.
Kiwis.
Yeah, Kiwis, Limeys. That's fucking slang.
That's like English.
Definitely way wrong. World War II slur. All right, everybody. Thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you in the next one.
Later.